Okay, in this video we're going to go over how to set up your house to be dimension and make your presentation floor plan drawing that is dimension. So first thing we're going to do is come over to your first floor and right click on it, and we're going to duplicate that view. Just duplicate it. Next thing we need to do is we need to turn off all your furniture and lighting and electrical outlet components. I don't have much that are present. You'll have a lot more than I will, but how you do is you just click on one, right click, select all instances visible in project, and then just right click, hide and view elements, and that will hide those features. Once you have everything hidden, we still want to see our plumbing fixtures and our kitchen components and washers, dryers, things like that. Then we're ready to put in our floor plan view. Before I do that, make sure that we rename this first floor dimension. It will come back to haunt you later on if you don't do it. So I'm going to do it now. Okay. So before we start dimensioning, we need to scale our drawing in our new sheet. So we're going to go right click on sheets down here, new sheet. It's the B one. If you don't hit that, if you don't have that, you hit load and you go down the title blocks B. So just double click on that. And we're just going to come up to that view we created, drag and drop in, and it's too small. So let's center it on here, and your scale will probably be 3/16. You can see mine is a little too small, so let's go to 1/4. It'll probably be one of those two. Once I have it in there, then we're actually going to delete it. We're going to go back to our first floor dimension. Let's crop the region by turning on our crop region there. Make sure there's no red X next to it, or else you'll have issues. Slide our crop region up to our walls. And then let's turn off the crop region. Now we're ready to dimension. Now when dimensioning, there's lots of rules that need to be followed. And to see kind of some of the rules and some examples, you have that floor plan that's available to you on Google Classroom to look at.
Wake up, wild kids. Everyone should be
So if you refer to this example in your Google Classroom, it'll show you some tips and tricks on how to dimension. You are being graded on following these dimensioning standards, so make sure you refer to the PowerPoint when you dimension. There's 2 examples and some slides that explain some dimensioning rules. But the main thing to remember when you dimension is to keep your smaller dimensions closer to your house. So let's start dimensioning. We're going to do it all in the Annotate tab using the Align dimension. And when I start dimensioning this, you want it set to wall faces when we start, because first thing I'm going to do is dimension to these windows. So I click on the face. I'm sorry, we need to change it to faces of core. And now I can click on this because it needs to go to the face of the stud. I'm going to the center of my window, the center of this window, and then we have this wall. We have windows down here. You want to chain dimension all the way across on everything you're doing because you essentially want everything to line up in your house. And I'm going to just pull this up, and we generally want 2 letter heights away from our house. So 1, 2, that looks good. And then next thing I'm going to do is put my dimensions for my walls. And that goes above. For this one, we actually get it to lock in, and we could have probably gotten rid of that 12/9. We don't need that. It's a repetitive dimension. And then finally, we would have our overall dimension of our house. And I just pull that up. So let's do another side. Remember, we always start on our exterior wall with the exterior face of the stud. When we do the inside walls, our interior walls, we go to the middle, the center line. And I'm going to do all of these. We're going to chain dimension all the way down. I get that exterior face. And we want to keep our spacing generally about the same. And you could get nitpicky about this. We're just going to kind of do it fast and loose here. And then finally, I would do my overall dimension right outside. Now, when you dimension, everything needs a size and a location. So if I look at this room, I know the size of the room. It's 13 by 10 essentially. I don't know where this door is. So I'm going to dimension from the face of the stud on the inside and to the center of the door. I'm going to put it right inside the closet right there. For these doors, I'm going to just start on this stud, go to the center, and then I'm going to chain dimension down because we have several doors. And that's how I would do it. So go through, make sure everything is dimensioned. It should look nice and neat. Everything should be lined up. Once again, you need to refer to this example when you're dimensioning to make sure you're doing it correctly and it looks right.